Danfo offers unparalleled, curated and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Donnie Samir, search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Again, please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, we are rolling to Senegal in May 9th to the 18th for the Jazz Festival. You know, we go every year. We have a great time, eat some of the best food in Africa. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit danfo.africa. Again, please visit danfo.africa. I'm going to pull up the site right now to join us. If you're interested in joining us, visit danfo.africa. We're also going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. That's August 2nd to the 11th. Then we're going to Zanzibar in September 20th to the 29th for Safari Blue. Then we're going to head to Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone in November. Love to have y'all. And Benin for the Voodoo Festival in January. That should be rolling out soon. So please visit danfo.africa to learn more. Without further ado, we're gonna introduce our special guest. Our brother Jay Cameron is on with us. Guys, make sure you hit the like button as you come to the chat room. And also, if you watch this, okay, if you peep your head in, you know, make sure you here we go. Okay, listen, don't start already. Okay, don't you start with me already, guys. I'm reading the chats. Yeah, but we're gonna bring on our brother Jay Cameron, okay, with Maximum Impact Travel. Jay is also part of the Dual Citizenship on the Continent Club as well. You know, Jay has his Sierra Leone and Ghanaian citizenship. You know, I have my Nigerian Sierra Leonean citizenship. So, you know, we both got our citizenship in Sierra Leone via the citizenship by DNA program, which is on pause for right now. We'll discuss that. But yeah, let's bring on our brother Jay Cameron. Jay, what's up, my brother?
The man, Dynasty. What's going on? Good to see you.
You the man.
Nah. You were running down the list of every place you were going to. Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Benin. I was like, okay. Covered all of West Africa.
But Jay, you be everywhere. Where are you? Are you in the States right now? Or where
I
you
am
at?
in the States right now. I'm in DC right now. I am.
How long are you in DC for? Cause I know you're leaving soon.
No, I'm actually going to be here for a little while. So I'll
really?
be here. Yeah, I'll be here for a little while. Yeah. But you know,
I'm gonna tell. I know why. See, and this is what's up. And see, I need to get to where you're at. See, you got people running it for you where you can stay at home.
Well, yeah.
There you go. That's how you're supposed to do it. You expanded.
Well, that was part of when I started. That
Mhm.
was something I understood, to try to keep up the pace that I was going in, starting in back in 2018 and then going into
Mhm.
2019. And through the pandemic and everything, I was like, there's no way I could keep this pace. So what I did was I went to 20 different destinations
Mhm.
and established the teams. And we have folks on the ground now in Egypt, and Ghana is coming up next week. So it's yeah, but it still work now.
Well, that's good because I'm at the point. Well, see, I need to get to where you're at because folks will be like, "Dynas, you coming? Okay, Dynas, if you ain't coming, I ain't coming." And I'm like, oh, "Okay, I'm coming." So I need to
I've
get
been
to where
there.
you're
I
at.
know the feeling. I've been there. I know all about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, everyone, shout out to J Cameron. Let's give this brother a loud round of applause, y'all. Loud round of applause. Jay, so let's so we both got something in common. We both have citizenship in Sierra Leone. Um, looks like the program is on pause for right now. Unfortunately, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what as far as granting citizenship to the diaspora, especially the way that we were able to get
Sure.
ours in Sierra Leone. What are your thoughts on that? Like that process?
Well, when it first came around, it was very exciting because it was something new. You never heard about, dual citizenship, and then it being a relatively easy process, especially when we were going to Sierra Leone, and
Mhm.
then later, when I'll talk a little bit about the Ghana process, but
Okay.
and then going to Sierra Leone, it was like wow, and then being able to connect. I'm Timony, so
Mhm.
you.
I'm midday.
Okay. So, being able to have that connection and then, being able to hone in on it was something that was, very new. And I discovered that in 2018. So
Mhm.
when 21 came around and they were offering it, of course, it was a no brainer. I went over and was able to get it. And I think that whenever any country is offering a dual citizenship, depending on what the goals are. If the
Right.
goal is to really invite the diaspora back in and to create that homecoming, if you will, then that's cool. But if it's really expecting the diaspora to come back and invest and build, then the expectations might need to be considered. You're dealing with people who, for the most part, have not had exposure to this new culture, and they're
Right.
starting to learn more about it. So from an infrastructure standpoint, not just from roads and buildings, but from a cultural standpoint, really understanding the people that you're reaching out to beyond the financial aspect, could make a program like that very successful long term. That's my thought.
Mhm. Okay. Then now tell us about the Ghana process because they just actually had a group
Yes.
last week. So, but yeah, tell us about that process.
Well, President Akofu Adu, it was actually President Mahama who started
Mhm.
it. And
Right.
so when he was he lost re-election, and
Mhm.
President Akufo-Addo, he was in for 2 terms, and now President Mahama is back.
Right.
But during the year of return, that whole campaign, I don't
Mhm.
think they really anticipated it to do exactly what it did. It was kind of like the timing was right. 2019, 16, 19,
Right.
come back home. So through that whole process, the previous president, as he was getting ready to leave office, invited those who were part of the diaspora to come and claim the citizenship. And so
Right.
that happened at the end of 2024. The first
Mhm.
wave, I think it was 524, got
Right.
in. And then I got in with the group on, like, I think it was January the 6th.
That was
His
that, that,
last
was, that was Umar Johnson's group, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Umar.
We were all right in there. Umar was right. We were all right in there together. And
Uh-huh.
Mendices and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the
The other
social,
reality stars, the
yeah,
OnlyFans models, yeah, they was, yeah, yeah.
everybody was there. We were all going in, and so we were like at the 11th hour of his presidency. We got in, and
Mhm.
then when we came outside, something interesting happened. We
What
came
happened?
outside, and there was a group of look like Lebanese that were going in to get theirs, and
Yeah,
there was kind of
yeah.
like, what's going on here? What is this all about?
Well, yeah. Well, Jay, not to cut you off. So the ceremony, the citizenship ceremonies confirm its after yours in Sierra Leone, they would also swear in like Lebanese and
Really?
European. Yeah, because I mean the rule is, there's no Negro clause. The only country with a Negro clause is Liberia, where you got
Okay.
to be black in order to have citizenship. Everywhere else, it's the same naturalization rules. You hear a certain amount of time, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, you're eligible. So, but yeah, so they got to, and they have to get sworn in too. So what they'll do after they got through with y'all, they just brought in the other folks to swear them in. So with Sierra Leone, what they started doing is just bringing everybody together.
Sierra Leone, like, look, let's just do it all. Let's get
Everybody together. So yeah.
Yeah, it was, I think that when it came to God, I think that surprised a lot of people. Because they came outside and they're like, what's going on here? But really, I mean, a country is a business. That's just the reality. They have the constitutions but they have economies and they have trade and they have all these other things, diplomacy and things they have to consider. So I get the business aspect of it because, whoever's coming in bringing you those resources, that's pretty much or who's taking them. That's something to to consider when looking at it. So it was beyond the emotional side, but I think that for a lot of the countries that are offering it, because I know Benin is offering it now, and I think some other countries may be offering it. But I think what happens is the expectation for the investment to come back in. Sometimes it falls short from the country, meaning the country is saying, okay, we're going to extend you citizenship. We're expecting you to come, bring your resources back, which I think is a smart move because when you look at the broader African diaspora and the economic strength that they have, I think is smart, but you have to have a pathway that is easier than the experiences that I've had. And so it's kind of like, I can tolerate some things that other people might not be able to tolerate along the way. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. And you'll see it on social media, but I think if they continue to refine it and if they continue to incentivize it, then it can be very successful.
I think so too. So we have there's a lot going on in the Middle East right now.
Yes.
And for a moment, Black folks love traveling to Tulum, Mexico, and Dubai. But it seems like, what was going on in Mexico, the cartels, and then what's going on in Dubai with, this conflict, folks are gonna have to seek other options. How can Africa capitalize on this? What do they need to do so we don't fumble the ball?
That's a great question. As a matter of fact, we had opened up Dubai. We had a trip going to Dubai that was supposed to start on the 28th of March, and we had to cancel that trip. And of course, it was us. We were going to Dubai. You know how we do. So, but I think what now is the opportunity for anywhere in Africa that has a peaceful country and a level of infrastructure that's inviting. Now is the time to say that this place to visit is someplace you can consider because we are not in the middle of the conflict. We're not a target. And here are the amenities that we offer. And that's what we're finding because we still have people traveling. We're taking people to Brazil. We had a session last night talking about Brazil. And that's far away from the conflict. So you just kind of, I mean, we're still taking people to Egypt, which is very interesting, which is right next to the conflict. They're not in the conflict, but but when you start looking at Southern Africa, places like Kenya and Tanzania and Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire and Western Africa, Senegal and Gambia and Nigeria, this would be the time to capitalize on it because Dubai, Qatar, and those parts of the world are going to be dealing with this for a while.
For a minute.
Yes.
How long do you think this is going to go on as far as these countries taking a hit on tourism?
Oh, wow. It really depends because everything is the 24-hour news cycle.
Right.
Depending on how they brand it, if it's a quick ceasefire and they've come to a deal and they can turn it around very quickly. But in the back of everybody's mind is going to be, so it really depends. That's the deal. If this can conclude quickly, then things can get back to normal. When I say back to normal, it could even happen by the end of the year. But it would need to turn quickly, and the rhetoric would have to be where they're working together and there's this consistent. We have a plan in place that's going to work, and the reality is Trump has a level of influence, and it's interesting to see the level of influence that he has with his words. I mean, he has the ability to like say something and the stock market can go up. He can tell you, go invest in this, boom, and you know, like smart people know. Let me, he said, what? Let me just jump on this stock right here because he understands that. And so he has the ability with his words to either de-escalate the situation or escalate the situation. We saw it with with the USO, with oil, United States oil, the ability to I don't want to say manipulate, but to influence how that stock has been going. So it's so many different things. But I say for Africa as a whole, and depending on whichever country you're in, if you can focus on what you do well, then like Zanzibar, I'll just go all the way out east.
Zanzibar.
That would be a perfect way for Zanzibar to capitalize on the fact that they're out in the Indian Ocean, peaceful Indian Ocean, tropics, beautiful. So that's something that Zanzibar could do, and of course Tanzania, it's because it's part of Tanzania, they could capitalize on that with the safaris, and Kenya could capitalize on it because of obviously everything that Kenya has to offer. But then they could tie that into Zanzibar as well. So you have a lot of different options. Of course, South Africa could capitalize, Ghana could capitalize, even places like Morocco, even though it's in the north, and it's not too, it's mentally in that same kind of area, but Morocco could capitalize because it could, talk about the fact that it's not in the middle of that. So it's there's so many ways to do it, and in places that you wouldn't normally think about, like a Cote d'Ivoire. Most people, Ivory Coast, they're thinking, what does the Ivory Coast have to offer? They have a lot to offer. So
beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. Have you been to Morocco? I'm sure you've been to Morocco.
Yes, I've been to Morocco.
Have you been to Marrakesh?
Yes, that's my favorite city in Morocco.
Is it really? Because compared to, I've never been to Marrakesh. I've just been to Casablanca.
Marrakesh is on a different level.
Really?
Absolutely. It's a different vibe. I love Casablanca too. I loved Chef Shawan. Throughout the whole country, Fez, I enjoyed it, but Marrakesh definitely has a different vibe than all of the other cities. So that's
I might go visit Marrakesh. They have direct flights now from Atlanta to Marrakesh on Delta now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw it.
Yeah. Guys, shout out to MIPAD. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and announce it right now. I'm going to nominate our brother Jay Cameron to enjoy the MIPAD family. Shout out to MIPAD. In fact, this is MIPAD Travel Desk podcast. So shout out to MIPAD. Also, guys, visit MIPAD.org travel desk, and you can find out the different destinations that MIPAD will be hosting people and taking people to this year. So make sure you visit MIPAD.org/travel desk. And also, guys, I'll put the link in the chat room if you guys want to call in, if you have some questions. Listen, we got to be nice. All right, guys, we got to be nice. Sometimes we get rowdy, but this ain't the show to get rowdy. All right. So make sure if you guys got any questions, if you want to add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the convo. Jay, give us a little background on yourself. I know you were in corporate America, then you decided.
I was on the grind. I'm known as a serial entrepreneur, and have had many business interests, and so got to a point. I was heading towards that milestone birthday. I was getting into those 40s pretty good, and then I decided that you can make a lot of money, but if you don't start living, that money means nothing. A lot of us are going to the grave with a whole lot of money in the bank
but no life experiences.
No life experiences. And I was so culturally misinformed and culturally ignorant. I didn't know much about Africa. I didn't know much about the world. I knew about the DMV, and I could tell you a few things about South Carolina. I could give you a little bit about that. But when it came to really being cultured, if you will, I was educated to a point, but I was not culturally aware and educated. So I decided to take a trip outside of the cruises, outside of the Caribbean,
Mhm.
And now that I recognize the value of the Caribbean now, even as a
Yeah.
result of the travels. And I went to Ghana, and then when I went to Ghana, I was like, wow. I said, this is different. I didn't expect. I thought it was just going to be just the narratives that we've heard. And that's when the awakening started happening, and I started learning more about the broader context to our story in the U.S. and
Mhm.
understanding where many of the issues that we've dealt with in our immediate family stemmed from places like that along the coast of West Africa. And then, of course, once our ancestors arrived in what we know as the United States,
Mhm.
um, it started painting a broader picture. So I started exploring. So I went from Ghana, then I went to go climb Kilimanjaro in Tanzania.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm going to go travel all throughout this continent. And the fear that I had of visiting Africa was now fading because I'm starting to see for myself. I'm starting to understand that there are 54, debated 55 different countries, all of these different ethnic groups and languages and cultures and people. And it just turned into an exploration. And then as more people started watching the journey, they were like, wow, I was thinking those same things. And so we started, inviting people to go with us
Mhm.
around the world. And then we started producing documentaries and children's books and just telling the story. And it started resonating, and ironically, with a lot of our elders, because they had heard all of the wild stories growing up. Don't do this, don't do that. They're going to get you. They're going to put something on you. Them Africans
Right.
over there, they don't like us. They sold us into slavery, and all of these different narratives. I'm just hearing. And then when I
Mhm.
get over there, I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Somebody's
It
been
ain't
playing a
true.
game on
Right.
us, and that's what I discovered. Whether it was the French, the Portuguese, the British, the Dutch, the Germans, wherever I was going, I was starting to see the influence of these external forces on the indigenous populations and how it was affecting their mindset. So I started being able to connect the dots and seeing how it was affecting us in the US, because we would identify as American.
Right.
American. What is American? What is American? That's the thing. So it
Right.
started clicking to say, wait a minute, this story is much deeper. And that's how this whole journey began and continues.
Mm. Maximum impact travel. Tell us more about that. What made you want to start actually bringing people
But the
over
fact
and
that, yeah, the
towards?
fact that there were so many who wanted to go
Mhm.
but didn't know how to get there, or they were afraid to get there, or they were like, well, if I go to Africa, I have to be going on a missions trip, or I have to go do some sort of charity. And I was like, no, the first charity was me, because I was the one who needed to decolonize my mind, deconstruct the different things that I've been taught. And I said, before we can go over here and talk about we're bringing shoes or whatever, we need to really see what we need to have imparted into us.
Mhm.
And there were other people that resonated with, and they were like, you know what, you're right. And they were stuck in the US, because you get in this thing, and oftentimes for many people, you get into this thing where you live long enough, and then you're trying to figure it out. You're like, okay, there has to be more to life than making money. There has to be
Right.
more to life than just doing the same routine. New
Mhm.
Year comes along. Next thing you know, Martin Luther King Day, then President's Day, then you
Midsummer
have
and then
Easter, Memorial Day. You go through the whole cycle, and the whole year is over. And now
over.
you're looking and you're saying, well, okay, what did I do for 2 weeks to take off to go to the Bahamas? It was like, there has to be more life. And so what we've done is just started giving people, just showing them that it's okay to go travel and see the world and go places other than London, other than
Right.
Paris.
Right.
We'll run to London and Paris, won't think about it. Oh, you're going to Freetown. We got to have a prayer vigil for you because you're going to Freetown. You
Right,
got
right, right, right.
people, so it's all of
Oh,
these
yeah.
things. Yeah, so we started. That's what inspired me to do it, to really be a bridge. I didn't know it was going to explode into what it has become, but it was just like, you know what? There are other people like me who want to live and want to enjoy. We work hard, we make money, so we want to go, we want to play hard too. And we just don't want to go to the places they tell us to go to. We want to go to some places that will not only we'll have a great time, but it will also enrich us. And that's what I found out in Nigeria. When I went to Nigeria for the first time, I remember, and you kind of inspired this too, Donis, because I saw your passion for going to Nigeria,
Mhm.
and you would go to the festivals and everything. And I was watching, And for years, I would say, man, I don't ever have to go to Nigeria. I don't have to go to Nigeria. I'm good. Everybody's scamming in Nigeria. So my mind was already, this is me after I've even started doing tours. And then I was in Ghana and met the tourism authority from Lagos in Ghana. And they said, come on over to Nigeria. I said, you sure? I said, all right, I'll come to Nigeria. Man, I got to Nigeria, had the time of my life. Yeah. I was like, what? I said, I felt ashamed again. I was like, I'm listening to these people. Everywhere I go in Nigeria, they were arguing with me, telling me that I was Igbo. I was like, I'm sure I have some of that. I don't know. They were literally, I'll go to the airport. They're like, man, what are you doing with this passport? What are you doing with this blue passport? No. I had my Sierra Leone passport. Right. They're like, what do you mean? You're from here. I was like, well, some of the DNA does tell me I have a lot of, what we know as Nigeria in there. I said, but I fell in love with Nigeria just because it was so familiar. And the vibe. I'll preach it to the choir right now. But that's the deal. So just connecting those dots, and we've helped a lot of people overcome the misinformation and disinformation that's been given us over the years.
All right, let me read the super chat. Amar Dambuya, thank you for the $10 holla. Hello, Maximum Impact, my Timney brother. Guys, hello. Links in the chat. You guys, links in the chat room if you want to add to the conversation. You're more than welcome to add to the conversation. Now, Jay, you do a lot of. I noticed you do a lot of speaking engagements, somewhat. Or how'd you get connected with that? Like, as far as you're on a lot of platforms speaking to people in live in person.
Well, getting connected to it, I've been speaking since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So it's been with me for a long time. I used to be a radio announcer, hence the microphone and all of that. But as of late, when people started learning about the story, that's when they're like, well, could you come share? But then I also share about business principles, but I share about real life scenarios, and I connect those dots so that people can see, okay, you know what, this is possible. I can do this. And so because I've been doing it for so long, I have a lot of friends in that particular industry. And when I say the industry, meaning in the speaking world, and that's how it all got started. And then the other thing is that we bring the results. So when you bring certain results, people like to hear what you have to say, because we're all looking for answers, and we want to know, how can I do this? So whether we're talking about a business principle, whether we're talking about travel, whether we're talking about somebody wanting to learn how to publish their own book, create their own podcast, whatever it is, there's a level of expertise that comes there, and that's how it's evolved.
What? So when do you head out again? You might have. Let me read the super chat real quick. Let's see. John Kofi 9501. Thank you for $10 holla. Thanks to your leadership, we the Diaspora are coming home. Yep. What when are you personally heading back out again?
Okay, heading back out. Well, this is interesting.
On a plane.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. I'm actually doing some U.S. domestic travel experiences. So we are going to the Gullah Geechee region of South Carolina and Georgia. We're going to the Oyotunji village. We're going to
how's that Oyotunji village? Since all that went down, are they still?
Yeah, they're still going.
Okay.
They're still going. As a matter of fact, I got the last interview with the king.
Before he passed.
Yeah, I got the last interview. So that's going to be in my documentary. And we had a good conversation, and obviously, that was a very unfortunate situation. Yeah, but it just goes to show that, all families have different dynamics. And but I'm sure you've been there. Have you been to the village?
I've never been.
At first when I've
never been.
You gotta go. It's actually very authentic. That was the part that I was like, this is in South Carolina. It's been there for 53 years or so. And but when I went, it was so, speaking Yoruba, the whole nine. It was not like it was a knockoff or anything. It was like the real deal. And
how far is it from Charleston? Is it near that area?
About an hour and a half, maybe about an hour, let's say an hour from Charleston, because it's right outside of Beaufort. So it's like you're going towards Savannah. And so you head down and
okay.
Yeah, so it's easy to get to. And yeah, they're still up and running, and they're still doing everything that they've done over the years. But see, I was born in Charleston, and my family was in Somerville, but I never knew about that village all of my life.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know about it until I started traveling, and I was becoming curious about the influence that's still in the U.S. from West Africa. So I was like, there has to be something that's still authentic and still, still real. So when you get out to the seacoast islands in like St. Helena Island and James Island and Johns Island and Sapelo Island, those islands still hold so true to the West African culture and practices. It is so unreal. I was in Ghana, and they were weaving the baskets at the Art Center in Accra. But then I went down to Miss Trudy in Charleston, and she's weaving the baskets the same way. I said, wait a minute. I said, Miss Trudy, have you been? What's going on? She's like, no, this is what I've been doing for years. And I'm watching them do it the same exact way. This is not like something that was long before YouTube and somebody being able to sit there and give a tutorial. This was a part of what both sides did and still do to this day. So, but that's what I'm doing. That's we're going to be doing that in July, and then we're going to be doing our Afro-Caribbean cruise. That's for the cruisers. So we're going down to St. Thomas, St. Kitts, St. Martin, St. Lucia, Barbados, and we're going to find all of the different African influences in those particular on those particular islands. So we're working with one of the cruise lines, because some people aren't ready to go to Africa. So it's like, all right, well, let me take you where you're ready to go to. So
Right.
Let's go where you're ready to go to. I say, eventually I'm gonna get you over there, but let's do that. And then we have a big trip coming up to Brazil. So I probably won't be out of the country again until the fall. I'll be around.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. When you said some people aren't ready to go to Africa, expand on that. Like, what, from your experience, what's holding people back?
Oh, the fear and the bad information, because they lump Africa together. So they say, oh, well, you're going to Africa, those Africans. And I'm like, well, which Africans are you talking about? Because, because the Angolans are definitely, they speak Portuguese, so they're definitely different than the Congolese. And so which ones are you talking about? You know what they do over in Africa? Okay, well,
what do they do?
What do they do in Africa? Tell me that we don't do in the U.S. What's the difference? I mean, humans are human. So it's but it's that thing, getting on a plane. I mean, I will say this: a number, and this is what I'm experiencing. A number has been done on our minds, because
can we still? I mean, but in 2026, can we still blame the media and the system and the man? Like, I mean,
we probably shouldn't, but we probably can. And I say this because some people don't watch or they don't consume the same content. So a lot of us, we're into entertainment and things that are just definitely not focused on traveling to Africa. So the information is out there, but some of us are just not pursuing it. So we're more into sports. We can run down the stats on every NBA player or NFL player. But when it comes to knowing that Africa has more than 50 countries, it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I thought I got some Africans who live in my neighborhood. Well, which Africans are you talking about? Where are they from? So even in 2026, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But once people get there,
change their life. Yeah.
Well, it's almost like that missing piece to the puzzle. And by design, it's almost like it was created to have us to be disinterested in that part of the world. Because you think about it, if I'm going to go spend money, and we know that if you're going to go to Africa, it's probably going to cost you a little bit more than going to Puerto Rico.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you think, well, if I'm going to spend this money, why am I going to spend this money to go to Africa when I can go to Puerto Rico? As a matter of fact, when I was in Puerto Rico, I saw a group of brothers, and they were brothers who probably could benefit from going over to Africa somewhere.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
I was like, have y'all been to Africa? Nah, man, I'm trying to get over there. I think I said, well, come on, man, it's going over. But because of the way things are. Why would I go to Africa? I'm not trying to do a missions trip. I'm not trying to do charity. Well, have you been to Cote d'Ivoire? And have you been to the beaches in Cote d'Ivoire? Have you been to have you been out to, let's go down to Cape Town in South Africa? Have you been to
Love Cape Town, man.
I figured you would.
Beautiful. Oh man. Like at first I was kind of like, I don't want to say anti-South Africa, but
I know.
We were in Cape Town this past November, man. I think Cape Town's the most beautiful city in South and probably in the world, if you ask me.
It's a phenomenal place.
It's a beautiful city, you know. Oh man, it's a beautiful city.
How long were you there?
So this is my second time going. I was first time I ever went to Cape Town was in 2012. This time going, we were there like maybe 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, but
did you get to Joburg also?
I went to Joburg, my first trip to Africa. And my first trip to South Africa in 2012, but I didn't go to Joburg this time. Okay. I just did. Because we did Namibia, then we did South Africa. So we did in Namibia, we did Walvis Bay, Windhoek, and then we just flew from Walvis Bay to Cape Town. We stayed in Cape Town, but Cape Town, I love Cape Town. You know, now you're not really gonna get that. Because I primarily focus on like cultural immersion as much as possible. And
we've seen
local food videos. Yeah. So you're not really gonna get that in Cape Town, but Cape Town's still a beautiful city.
Did you eat anything strange or unique? Let me not say strange. Did you eat
what did I eat in Cape Town? I ate what I did. I think was it ostrich?
There you go. That's it. That's the ostrich. Yeah.
It was like ostrich, or I ate something unique.
It tasted like beef. It was the bird that tasted like beef.
Yeah. I think it was ostrich or something. I don't know. I ate something, you know.
Yeah,
I look at the menu, whatever's the most exotic or weird, I'm gonna try it, you know.
Well, the ostrich is definitely there, especially if you went to Gold Restaurant. So they serve the ostrich, and then they have the different bucks, the kudu buck, the different
I had that too. The springbok. I had springbok and I had ostrich. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But I mean, with South Africa, but when it comes to Cape Town, it definitely is very reminiscent of some place like LA or
right. Probably even better. Nah. You can't. Cape Town's way better than LA. You can't.
Oh yeah, it's definitely better. Yeah, but it just kind of reminds you with the water and everything that's there. But then it has, of course, Table Mountain, and then going out to Cape of Good Hope and all those different places. Right. It just has a vibe to it. But yeah, man, it's. I tell everybody that until you get out here and see and expand your mind, you'll be in a box and you'll only know what is in front of you. So going to Zanzibar and spending time out there, I didn't think I was going to be feeling Zanzibar like that because it's Arab. It's just kind of got this antique kind of vibe to it.
But see, I like that. I like the antique. I like the history. I like the character. I like that.
It's got a vibe. But think about it, it's very different from Cape Town.
Complete night and day.
But it's in Africa. So it's like but Durban. Have you been to Durban in South Africa?
I have been to Durban.
So Durban has a vibe. So it has that Zulu vibe going on in Durban.
Right.
So you again, and this is what I say to everybody watching, once you start tapping into it, then you went to Namibia. So you were in Windhoek. Did you go out to the desert?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So did the desert. So you saw.
We climbed the dunes.
Okay.
We did the dunes. Yeah.
So in doing that, you had a different exposure. In Senegal, they have camels in Senegal. Senegal, especially right there in Dakar, is right below the desert.
Right.
So I'm just hopping around the continent to say all of these different offerings are there. And back to your point, Africa as a whole could take advantage of this, and from a peaceful standpoint, because people are looking for peace. We don't want to go to a war-torn situation. So there's so many places on the continent, and just like all the places you mentioned, you're doing Senegal and you're doing all throughout the West, and so people should go check out what you're doing and go see for yourself.
Yeah, guys. Links in the chat room if you want to call in and ask a question. You're more than welcome to. We'll stay on. We'll take a couple callers. We'll stay on like another, if it's cool with Jay, another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
If you want to, call and ask a question, you're more than welcome to. Love to, have y'all jump on and ask a question. Participate. join us. Go ahead and get involved. So, Jay, I like that you see. I'm an Africa guy, man. I just, I've never visited a country in the Caribbean. I've been to Mexico.
Okay.
I've been to I've only been to Africa, really.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one place that you must go to, especially because you have the strong connection to the West.
Bahia.
Absolutely.
Were you gonna say that? Were you gonna say that?
Yes, I was. And I'm gonna tell you why. I was flying back from South Africa in December, and I happened to look at the map on the plane on screen, and I looked over and I saw Lagos, Nigeria, and I saw Salvador, Bahia, and they're right across from each other. I mean, literally
straight
directly.
line. Yeah.
I mean, not like going down south. It's like directly across from each other. I said, so now I understand why when you get to Bahia, you see all of the authentic Yoruba influence. And then when you're in Lagos, you have the Afro-Brazilian community that's in Lagos. So it's this thing, when you get to Bahia, you would love it. With the Condomble and the Pellerino and everything that's going on. You would go and you would say, what is going on? Because Benin has a strong connection, as well as Angola. So you have Angola, Benin, what we know is Nigeria. They have these connections, not only in Bahia, but also in Rio, in that area as well. But you're going to see it strong. I mean, people look just like me and you
in Bahia.
Bahia. I mean, if I didn't, when I was there in 2019, I was walking around and they thought I was from there until I opened my mouth. They heard me pop out my other colonized language. I said, I don't know. I'm speaking English. Y'all speaking Portuguese. So I said, bon dia. And I said, that's about all you're going to get from me. Hola and bon dia. But it's, I mean, the food, it's just like the food in the southern part of the U.S. with the black eyed peas and the okra. Same thing, just like over in West Africa, the okra and the black eyed peas. I mean, it's different. Of course, it's been merged with the indigenous. But it's in South America. But that's the one place. If you want to go and see, it's Bahia. Now don't get it is not. Let me say this: there were parts of Bahia that felt more African than some places I've been in Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's because they hold true to it. I mean, the orishas and everything. When you get there, you're like, wait a minute. That's going to be your thing. I'm telling you, you'll see the differences. Bahia. Yes, sir. But that I before you go back to South Africa, hit up Brazil. It's about a 10-hour flight from Houston. Well, no. You're gonna fly into Sao Paulo, and then you'll fly from there into Bahia, and then go from there. All right.
Go ahead, Aisha.
Hey, Dinus. Hey, Jay Cameron.
Hey.
So I'm wondering if I already have an African passport, and our passport, like I can use my Sierra Leone passport to get to Ghana and things like that. What is the benefit of having multiple passports? So I'm late, so you guys may already covered this. But so I also, like Dinus, have Nigerian ancestry. And I just wonder, do I need a Nigerian passport? Like, what is the benefit of having multiple passports if I already have one?
Go ahead, Jay.
All right, that's a great question. And because some people ask me, well, why would you go for your Ghanaian citizenship if you already have Sierra Leone? So what the passport does, it allows you to go to, I believe it's 14, maybe it's
ECOWAS.
Yeah.
Well, I still think you can still go to like the AES still with your ECOWAS.
Okay, so you still can. Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives you don't have the need to get that visa. And sometimes that visa can be a little tricky. So that's the one benefit of having the ECOWAS passport from Sierra Leone. Now, the advantage of having the passport in another country, say like Ghana, is because I do a lot of business in Ghana. So as a citizen, I can now take advantage of what citizens can benefit from. So I'm not a non-citizen in Ghana. If you want to set up a business, you need $200,000 US to set up a business as a non-citizen. As a citizen, I don't need that. And so now I can get a longer term because they have leasehold in Ghana.
Yeah,
So I can get a
land,
longer
with the real
term
estate.
on property.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was really from a business perspective. And if you're looking to do business or relocate or spend a considerable amount of time somewhere, that's the benefit. And then, of course, I have my green passport and I can go still to the ECOWAS countries. But then there may be some other countries around the world that I can visit that maybe they don't accept the Sierra Leone passport, but they might accept a Ghanaian passport. And I can use that if I don't want to use my US passport.
Right. Okay. That's something I didn't consider, especially Ghana, because my daughter-in-law is Ghanaian. And I've been hesitant to build there because of the whole 99-year lease thing. So that does make a lot of sense.
Well, for you, well, if you're not Ghanaian, isn't it like 30? If you're not Ghanaian,
I think it's 55
or
or something
55,
like that.
yeah.
If you're not Ghanaian, that's right.
If you're not Ghanaian,
yeah. Okay.
And it gives you options. I think that's the other thing. If you can get it,
options,
the options. Because if you just decide, you know what, I think I want to go stay in. I mean, I know Benin is offering it. You may fall in love with Benin. Like, all right, I don't want to have to go renew my visa every 90 days. I don't want to have to leave the country and come back in. So that's where just the option standpoint, and if and so that's the part that really stuck out to me, being able to establish business, real estate, and then if I just want to stay in Ghana for a year, I don't have to worry about the visa.
That's true. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Let's see here. AJ Niger's asking, what steps do you need to take to travel to Cuba? Have you been to Cuba, Jay?
Yeah.
How were you able to get there? Like, I still don't understand. You can fly direct from.
Yeah. How about you go down to Miami right now? It's the easy. Actually, Cuba is easier to get into than Ghana.
Okay, but so how's it? Okay, I'm still kind of not clear on how it works, like because of the embargo and all that other stuff. Like,
well, when I went last year,
you went last year. Okay,
yeah, I went last year, and all I did was went to online. You get an e-visa.
Okay,
get your e-visa. You go fly to Miami, American Airlines, take you right into Havana.
Like a 30-minute
stamp your passport.
Even that?
Say it again.
It's like a 30. Is it even a 30-minute flight or an hour flight?
Oh, about an hour,
Miami?
maybe 45 minutes or so.
It's quick.
Okay. Yeah, it's real quick. It's not even. It's a quick flight. You're there. I love Cuba. They're going through some challenges right now.
Yeah, it's dark right now. I don't think they have any power.
It's going through some challenges right now, but I love Cuba. I went to Cuba 5 times between 2023 and 2024 just because it was something authentic about it. It was just a vibe to it. And then guess what? You got your Yoruba culture right there.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah, right there. It's right in the heart of Havana. And it's just, you see all of these connections, man. The food was great. You could tell that, the U.S. has their fist on them really heavy, but the people were so kind. It was one of the safest places that I felt. I was walking around Havana at night, no problems. Nobody was bothering me. It was, it's just really a special place if you ever get a chance to go.
Now, but what is it? You have to stay. You can't stay in a private hotel, or what's the rule? Somebody told me it was some type of rule, I guess.
Yeah, they have a rule. They have a rule. You cannot stay in a hotel that is on the U.S. list that's banned.
Oh, okay.
But they have other hotels. I stayed in an Airbnb one time. That was cool. The family took great care of me. I mean, they cooked and made sure I had the internet thing, and because you're gonna lose your internet when you get there unless you're in a hotel. And then other times I stayed in hotels, and those hotels were not on the list, and the hotels were very nice. So that's what I said. When you start navigating it, it's a lot of information out here that's just kind of floating around. And when I went, I'm telling you, you just be prepared for your phone to be offline, or else you're going to spend a whole lot of money on that data. You can run up, you can run up that data in 10 minutes. You can run up a $750 bill.
Okay, so, we don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. But it's but you owe it to yourself to get to Cuba. The capital there, Well, see, the thing is, once you understand the history of Cuba and how the U.S. used to have it,
Right.
and then they lost it. You see
Mhm.
the old architecture, you see the Spanish architecture, you see the where the Americans had their imprint in building the Capitol and all of that, because it really looks like the U.S. Capitol in many ways. You just see the old cars that they keep running with Russian parts. It's interesting. So you see an old 1957 Chevy. The
Mhm.
motor is not a Chevy motor; it's a Russian motor, because
Mhm.
that's how they were able to keep it going. And so they're riding around town in these old vintage cars, and that's how they get around.
Mm.
I'm telling you, it's definitely worth a trip, and it's not anything scary. You know, you want to go with some guidance. You know, don't just get
Right.
on the plane and go. But yeah, you know, you just brush up on a little bit of Spanish and kind of be ready for that. But outside of that, you know, everybody was so nice.
Africa, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, greetings, Diners, and the brother, my determined Sierra Leone brother, Cameron. You know, the first time I saw when he just came up, there's a guy on the Sierra Leone program called Weird, called Sengbe Baibure. You look very, very much alike, bro. And he's a Timmy brother.
Oh
Without a
wow!
DNA test, yeah, you look like brothers, man.
Oh wow!
So,
Okay, that's what I'm
yeah, I can
talking
see the
about.
resemblance. Yeah. If Amara is on the chat, Amara, come up and prove me wrong. You absolutely look like him, spitting image. Yeah, it's crazy. Did you actually, before you had your DNA, did you had a clue that you probably have some kind of connection to certain country or certain group of people in the continent, or it was just after your DNA test?
It was after, and because if you even watch the reveal when I discovered, I didn't even know what Sierra Leone was. I didn't even. I was so. I was the typical brother who. I was that guy. That's why so many people resonate. They're like, "That's me." I had no idea when Gina, Dr. Gina, she said, your DNA comes from a small country in West Africa, Sierra Leone." I was like, Sierra Leone? You could just see my face. My face was like, okay. It was like, all right. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to get there. I'd never been to Africa before, and I was getting ready to go take my first trip to Ghana. At that point, I just knew I didn't know anything. But now, as I'm learning, and you know, I'm going to Sierra Leone, and I was born in Charleston, so the connection made sense.
That
Charleston,
yeah.
yeah, Charleston, South Carolina, the rice. And so when I was in Freetown, and they put the rice on the plate, and they dumped the food on top of the rice, I said, I feel like I'm back in Charleston. I said, this is how, and everybody's like, rice. I said, well,
ain't no other way to eat it. You gotta dump the food on the rice.
Dumped it right on the rice. I said, okay, here's the connection. And from there, it's been just a discovery, a lifelong. I mean, it's like I spent more than 40 years not even interested. And so now it's like, it's all about this. It's all about learning. It's all about appreciating the people. Anytime I'm on the continent, or anytime I meet someone in the States or anywhere in the world, it's never about what I can do for you. It's like, what can I learn from you? Teach me about your culture. Teach me some things that I don't know, because clearly I spent most of my life in a bubble, and I just want to keep learning. So I'm always going to different restaurants. You'll find me at a Nigerian restaurant or Senegalese. My favorite Senegalese restaurant is in Vegas, Calabash. So
in Vegas,
man, Vegas. Two of my favorite Nigerian restaurants. You're not going to believe the city. Two of them were two of some of the best Nigerian food I've ever had. Rome, Italy. Side by side. Of course, two Nigerians own the restaurants, but they had that egusi soup right. I was like, man, I said, this is serious. And
Rome, Italy.
So it goes to show how, although those who had the interest to separate and divide and destroy, the influences are still all over the world. I'm telling you, go to Calabash in Vegas. I couldn't. Every time I'm in Vegas, I don't care where I am, I'm going to that restaurant. And it's Senegambian food. Senegambian.
Jay, I've never been to Vegas.
Man, come on, Steiners. We just got to go out. We got to do a tour together.
I'm down. I'm down to do a collab. We could talk. I'm down, but I've never been to Vegas.
we got to do Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. DC has a great. Maryland has Swahili Village. They have one in.
I've been to
DC.
Swahili Village. I've been to Swahili Village in DC. I've been there.
So that's another spot. So they have a lot of different flavors. That's more East African vibes. Of course, you have the Moroccan and the Egyptian vibes with the kafta and all of that. The Mediterranean. That's why I would say Mediterranean vibes in all over. But when it comes to the West African food, it's like,
Jay, you gotta next time you're in Harlem or Brooklyn, there's a Senegalese restaurant called Boabab.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm putting it down right here.
One's in Harlem, and then there's another one in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
Try that out and let me and then tell me if you think the one and then in Atlanta there's Bamba. There's a spot in Atlanta called Bamba.
The spot, okay, go Bamba.
Yeah, off of Campbellton Road. So next time, you're in either. In fact, if you come to Atlanta and I'm here, hit me up and
I will. We'll go. All right,
we'll go.
Campbellton Road. That's all. That's in East Point.
It's so the where it dead ends or starts is near East Point, but then it stretches all the way to like city of South Fulton.
Oh, okay.
So, but the I guess that would be considered the east side of Campbellton, where it starts. It's near like that East Point, by the close to the Tyler Perry Studios, not too far from there.
Okay, got it. So going out Cascade, I guess it was Cascade, and going out near Greenbrier and out in that whole area.
Right. So Campbellton runs through Greenbrier Mall next to it. So yeah. So then the restaurant Bamba is like when you cross over 285, when you pass Greenbrier Mall, cross over 285 is right there.
All right. Well, I'll be in Atlanta in June, so that's the deal. So
I'll be here. I should be here. Yeah,
right,
I'll be back.
We'll go to Bamba.
We'll go to Bamba.
Yeah.
I like the name as well. The name Bamba. He's
Bamba.
Actually come from Bamba. Yeah, I mean, thank you. I mean, you're a businessman as well. You tell me people are very good business people. You kind of suits well, and I'm very good at judging Africans by their tribe by just looking at them. And even my white partner, actually, my partner who is not African, can tell. I'm always right because when I see people over here, I'd always say to her, this person is that, and when I ask them, I'm always right. Just like when I first saw Diners, I knew he was a Mende. He definitely looked like a Mende person. He did need a DNA to actually get your passport. So well, thank you very much, man. Nice to see people with these familiarities, in the continent, and I hope that a lot of countries actually start giving out nationality to African Americans who want to settle and do good, and repatriate to the continent. Well, thank you very much, Diners. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Guys, we'll take one more caller, then we'll close out. We'll take one more caller, then we'll close out. Jay, what do you think that the future of? I know we talked about this earlier, but just across the continent in general, the future of citizenship via DNA. You think it's going to grow, or?
Oh, I don't even think it's going to need DNA. I think I think countries will look at the economics. And they will say, we have a population of people just in the U.S. with $1.6 trillion of economic power, whether it's spending, investing, or, that's up for debate. But then that's just the U.S. But if you now go into the UK or you go into France and look, so they'll start looking at that because a lot of these countries need that economic boost. But it's going to have to be attractive. Because if it was not attractive, then I wouldn't do it because I can just stay in the U.S. or go to someplace else or go to Dubai or wherever and make the money because our minds are capitalistic because of the systems that we're in. Right. So that's just the way that it is. Now, as far as the emotional and the connection, then I can see a lot of people opting for that, but it still requires a lot of education. It's going to require a lot of cultural understanding because then when you get there, you think in one way, and you find out every culture has their challenges. Every culture has this underbelly of scenarios. And so sometimes I can surprise you if you're not ready. You're like, oh, I didn't know. Okay. All right. This is how we play this game. Okay. I got to tip you if I want to get something done. You know how this goes. Yeah, I got to tip you. Yeah.
I paid a small. The shakedown.
There you go. Small.
Go ahead, Prince Louis.
Yeah, hello there, Dinas, and hello there to my man Jay.
Hello, Prince.
Yes, I should be greeting from the right as I can, man. You know it's a tradition. And so, yeah, Jay, and to my man Dinas, lovely show. I've missed most of it. I've just come back from shopping, so I'm a little bit late. So I'll dive straight in. This is to Ghana specifically, Jay. As someone you're a citizen now. I believe you might be a citizen. I know you pretty much more or less got your team down there on the floor. Since you've been going to Ghana, which is how long has it been now since you first landed there?
2018. So we're pushing up on 8 years. Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh, time flies quick. How do you feel the country has responded to the wave of people who've been coming back since you went? Are the government responding? I mean, are Ghana as a whole, a country, doing the right thing? How do you see it?
I see that they have been responding, and I think in some ways positively, other ways they need to obviously continue to grow and develop.
Yeah.
And I say that because I don't think they were expecting as many people to come and the interest to be there. So a lot of what I see happening is reacting to situations versus being proactive and preparing. And that's more from, I would say, a more Ghanaian perspective. When I look at the external interests, say the European investments, the Asian investments, the Indian investments, and India is a part of Asia. And I'm just being a little bit more specific with it. Lebanese investments, they see, because they kind of come with a more of a Western mindset. So they're now taking advantage of creating opportunities and developments for those who are returning. So it's now many Ghanaians caught on to that and say, hey, wait a minute, we have money too. We have land, we have hotels, and we have restaurants, and we can get into this game. So I'm now starting to see more and more Ghanaians taking advantage of this influx. The government is slowly but surely starting to catch up. The visa process is still a bit antiquated, but it's getting better. So I can say that I see progress. I see them recognizing this opportunity, and it's that's what I see going on, and that's just the reality of it. It can still be tough if you're not prepared for it. If you're not prepared for, as they say, the African way. That's the that's the wink. The African way.
Good. And in terms of infrastructure, which is something that frustrates the hell out of us, for instance, the Marine Drive project right by the Independence Square, that should have been done by now, right? They drag their damn feet, okay? Some of our motorways should have been up and running. I mean, road construction, let's just take that. Is there an improvement there? Because I see a lot of it on YouTube. Is there real improvement? Has it been good there?
You talking about the roads?
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting. The road going out to Cape Coast, like right now, is rough because there is under construction. So you can see where this road is going to reduce the travel time from Accra to Cape Coast by probably an hour. Because when you're going out there normally, it's a bloop, 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 you're driving.
I went on it in 2016. It was only a 2-lane road.
Right. So now what they're doing is they're expanding the road. And it's a major project. It's going to be similar to the N1. As far as, I just hope they don't name it George W. Bush Highway. I hope they don't do that.
No. That's why, listen, people like me, right? That's why I'm glad people like you are there now to double check. Hey, we got this, because our Ghanaians get naive and they think other black people ain't checking. But since you guys started coming now, right? Now the pressure is on. They will. We got that reputation to keep. We better do that. So hopefully none of that rubbish will sort of come that way. But my main thing is here. I mean, I should have been back in Ghana about 4 years ago, but I'm ready now. I got half a year left or so. I'm just hoping that they concentrate on the infrastructure. I think if they just build the infrastructure, black folks are gonna come.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you see it in the planning. You see what they're doing in Cape Coast, and this is what I tell everyone. I said, now is the time. You want to, if you're going to get in, now is the time to do it, because we don't want to, like in the U.S., what happens is, and I say this all the time, a lot of times we will be the last ones to the party after it's already been built, after somebody already developed the plan. We're showing up late.
Yeah. I
But
want people
now
to get
it's
in there
like
now.
it's like get in now and
Yep.
at least, you know, and I say this to my Ghanaian brothers and sisters, you know, to take advantage of it while it's being built, because
Yeah,
in a
it's still
minute,
under
a
construction,
crowd's
yeah.
going to be, they're already looking to expand the airport.
Yeah, they're gonna have a new Accra as well.
Yeah, so it's all of
It's
these things.
getting
You know,
cheaper.
Kumasi has the new airport. They're talking about putting the airport in Cape Coast. So it's, you know, you get in
I
now.
thought there was already an airport in Cape Coast. I know it's pretty small, like a regional airport.
Yeah, they're gonna build. They got I mean, Kumasi is an international airport now. They're gonna expand it, but then you got about 3 other ones, Cape Coast ones for sure. That's gonna be the main tourist sort of thing. That's gonna be built again. Most of them were old military training grounds, right? But now they're gonna be expanded into full-blown airports. So you
like out of Takoradi. Yeah, because the Takoradi, that's like the military. That's the military airport.
Yeah. So there's a lot coming on board. Yep, that's it. There's a lot coming on board. So hopefully I will get to meet. I've got your details. So when I'm ready and that, I'm going to be dropping you an email when I'm ready to be hitting back home. So I'm glad you're on the show. And I love what your brother's doing. So one of your brothers there is building his estate, real estate on his big mountain place. I keep forgetting his name. Big brother, big wears beard like yours.
Dre.
Yeah, that's it. He's a chief now.
Yeah, Dre.
That's it. Like, I keep want to use him as an example for Carla, because Carla keeps talking about there's nothing going on. I keep to listen. People are doing things. Yeah.
Jay doesn't know Carla. Jay doesn't know Carla.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. You know, and so when you see him, tell him we watch him every time. We love what he's doing, and he inspires us. We feel ashamed. We're actually born in Ghana. This is how long it's taken. So we're literally doing the thing back together. You understand? So when we see you, we are delighted. When diners go back home, we're delighted. So keep it up. You inspire us. Okay? So hopefully we meet in the future, and then we can inspire you as we go along. I'm going back to do furniture production. All right? And,
yes, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. I'm only about 10 minutes away from, you know, when you're traveling on a VIP bus from Kumasi, Accra to Kumasi, I'm in a place called Bunsu, called Siakwa, small village, but it's about 10 minutes from Bunsu. So hopefully one day I can invite you and your crew to stop by on your way before you carry on. So soon, yeah? All the information is coming soon. So
hey, Jay, when's the last time you've been to Cape Coast?
When was the last time? A few months ago.
So last time I was in Cape Coast was like 2018. How was it like?
Oh man. Cape Coast itself is pretty much the same.
Okay.
But the road is that's always been the challenge. That road going out there, and
the roads were never big to begin with. They're thin, very old city. It was there before Accra. So
no like development or anything, like any.
People are building, but it's not like what you're
Accra.
No, not yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Hear what I'm saying to you. In the next 15 years, Cape Coast, a lot of folks are buying land out there. And some of the properties out there going for like over $1 million USD.
Lord.
Did Mama Selkie, the Queen Mother, one Africa, did she ever sell her property? I know she was selling it.
I'm not sure. I heard that as well.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a prime location. You go and revamp that.
I stayed there when I went to Cape Coast.
You go revamp that.
On the YouTube thing the other day, I think she still got it. I don't think she's found a buyer yet. Maybe she ain't got the right price she wants. You know, but she's still there. I saw her in the dock, and let's say, you know, she was just there for a visit. I don't know, but she's still there. The place is still there. But yeah, listen, every piece of land are getting calls from bushland that we used to do farming in my granddad's damn farming. Nobody wanted to know about it. People fighting over it. This is in the bush. Yeah. Yeah. So everywhere.
Like, East Lagoon used to be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody wanted land in East Lagoon, and then you know.
Oh my God. He's don't get me started. My dad had 4 plots of land because he was part of the House of Chiefs, and the Gamashi gave him £1,000 each. Through family nonsense, we lost all them plots of land. You know, when the land grabbing was happening, right? This is during the land grabbing, right? So it's not, don't just happen to foreigners, happen to us Ghanaians too, because we weren't back home, and I didn't get the information till 4 years later. They had taken the land, and we saw God knows how much it's worth now, probably about 400,000 just for the plot or something. It's just madness. But the earlier you get in, and it's not gonna get cheaper.
No,
it doesn't get cheaper. So, you know, welcome to the world. But it's nice to speak to you, my man. Keep up the good work. We're here watching you, supporting you. All right, you inspire us. Okay, all the best, my brother.
Thank you. Same to you.
See you down
Uh,
there.
All right, Jay, we'll go ahead and close out. Anything else you want to share in closing?
All right, this is it, everybody. Go out, see the world, live. Life is too short. It's too short, too short, too short, too short. And go out and see and learn. And don't count the pennies, you know, count the cost of what it is that it's gonna be for you not to have the experience.
Right.
And go see the world. So that's what I say to everybody.
Okay. Everyone, how can people reach you as well? If they want to
MaximumImpactTravel.com is the company, but you could just type my name in, Jay Cameron, on IG, Facebook, YouTube. You'll see Passport to Purpose with Jay Cameron on YouTube. Definitely, you know, follow us over there. You'll see what we have going on. And yeah, you type my name in, I'm going to be pretty much the only Jay Cameron that comes up.
Right. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Also, make sure you visit MIPAD.org/travel desk. Until next time, family, that is Amir Search for Huru. Peace.